We're going to build the best football team in the SEC Conference. We're going to build the best football program in the SEC Conference.
You have now arrived at Stadium in Gale.
The kick, it's been blocked again! How about it? It's been blocked again! It's going to heat one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyreek Cleveland! How about it? I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw. Pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Norrie! It's Norrie! Got a touchdown! Norrie's got a touchdown! Oh, man! Norrie's got a touchdown!
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out the winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium in Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium in Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
And Dan.
No Nicholas today, man. We got some baseball and some rain delays and some lightning. Same corner, same time. How you feeling, Daniel?
I'm feeling great, man. It's a 3-year anniversary show for us. An exciting 3 years. I want to go over some of your favorite memories here in a second, but we don't have Nick right now. He may be joining us a little bit later, as everybody knows. We record on Monday nights. Baseball is currently in a rain delay and lightning delay for the quite foreseeable future. So as they try to get all of that sorted out, that also has put an interruption in our interview with Scott Strickland that we had planned for today. So we'll get that in the works for the next couple weeks as well. But obviously, bigger priorities and bigger fish to fry for both of them right now. But Silk, before we get into some of our favorite 3-year memories of Stadium in Gale, which is hard to believe, how's your weekend, my friend?
My weekend was great. I had some rain delays as well this weekend, some lightning delays, but the proceedings proceeded. After the hurricane, we had a 5-hour hurricane, like weather, 5-hour bad weather, not a hurricane. But once that weather subsided, man, it was beautiful. Went out to the beach, relaxed. Just did some business. Last week I had Janoris in the building. I was just riding off that high, man. Janoris Jenkins, Gator legend, Muck legend, 561 legend pulled up, and we had quite the interview, man. Can't wait to release that episode. Very candid. Got some information about his whole stay at University of Florida. A lot of the Aaron Hernandez stuff, the Giants stuff with his brother, you know, that incident that happened in his basement. We got real, you know, and I'll let everybody check it out. I won't say too much detail.
I listened to
quite the interview.
I listened to your show, Big Three roll up on Friday when you went over everything, and I had completely forgot about that incident with the Giants. That was something that, you know, sat in the back of my mind, but was erased for a while until you brought it back up, and that's obviously a wild story. I'm interested, obviously, to hear how you guys break that down. And if I remember correctly, you said you guys sat down for almost 2 hours, huh?
Almost 2 hours, bro. Just crazy. Had a great time. After we sat, he was there for longer than 2 hours. The event was done. You know, we cleaning up, cut the lights on. Him and his daughter hung out for another hour. I thought he was gonna grab the broom and start sweeping up and helping us get the place together, man. Came back the next day to pick up some Kush House merch and whatnot. I wasn't even in the building. He's like, hey, man, I left my shirts. Can I go over there and swing out? Next thing you know, I see pictures of him just chilling with my boys over at the Kush House. Just a very humble dude, down to earth dude, man. Just a real dude, man. It's a lot you get, you don't get. We haven't heard Janoris in an interview. It's hard, like he wasn't real like outgoing while he was at the University of Florida. So the guy, to get him in that atmosphere, he was very comfortable. Real cool dude, man. Had a great time.
Yeah, and obviously one of the best DBs in UF history, in my opinion. You know, outside of everything that happened during the first year of Muschamp, you know, was a guy that came onto campus as a freshman, was battling Joe Hayden and battling some real dudes on campus, and came and earned that starting spot. And in my opinion, you know, no matter how everything shook out, you know, over the course of his career went down, in my opinion, is probably a top 10 defensive back at the University of Florida, which is saying a lot for a guy that only played a few years under the logo.
Three epic years, man. That senior year would have been the final with Muschamp. The marijuana got him tossed out of there, but
yeah, that's right.
3 epic years. He wore the number 1. He did some legendary things on this campus, man. I got him in my top 2 cornerbacks all the time.
Yeah, the Jackrabbit, man. I'll tell you what, I loved watching him play. Obviously, he's had a great NFL career too. I think that we were talking about it last week. I think he about 10 years in the NFL as well. So
10 years. Yep.
That's incredible. That puts you in probably the top, 1 or 2% of all NFL players of all time too. So, dude, that's awesome, man. As always, I try to pump your tires a lot, but that's a hell of an interview, and excited to listen and follow up on what you guys were able to talk about.
Appreciate that, brother.
Absolutely, man. We got Carl Johnson joining us today, and then we got Ryan, who's the CEO of the Swamp Restaurant, joining us as well. They've got some big announcements. Obviously, that's one of Silk and I's favorite restaurants both times that I was an undergrad and then post-grad, and then Silk obviously has some memory, so excited to go down memory lane with Ryan. But Silk, we've been doing this for 3 years, my friend. Dates back to March of 2019 or May of 2019, pardon me, when you reached out and said, hey, I want to do a team-specific podcast about the Florida Gators, and it was me, you, and Ahmad Black. And in 3 years, we've had some elite guests, some elite times, obviously some incredible interviews and experiences. But looking back on those 3 years, Silk, what are some of your favorite memories and some of your favorite interviews?
Oh man, so it's a ton. But yeah, I originally reached out to you. I was on the roll up. I was just heavily frustrated with just arguing and nitpicking for hours every show. I was like, bro, I just really want to get into my Gator bag. So I'm gonna start my own thing and I want to talk about Gator. And plus, I had some Gator fans telling me, hey man, we need more Gator info. Could you guys talk more of that? Or Corey, could you do a live? And I was like, man, I'm not doing all that different stuff. I do a podcast that makes sense. I had already been thinking about mulling over the idea of working with Dan. So I just reached out, seen what was up. Same thing with Ahmad, and then we just got it going. But memories, bro. I mean, we had so many great topics. I mean, from the play cousin thing to having Urban Meyer on. I mean, you named Chris Rainey interview was insane.
We had word of the week. That was
week.
That was fun.
That was a nice run.
We had Ahmad. He played the song of the week through his iPhone 3 one time.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. What else we had? We had the interview with Matt Baker.
That was a good one. I forgot about that one.
That had the internet heated. Let's see. What else did we have? We had Tim Brewster interview when he came over. That was before he had done any media at all when he was signed, and him and Tony McQuay had that interview, and that's actually our most listened to episode of all time. But looking back, obviously the Chris Rainey interview was incredible. Ross Dellinger, we had a great episode with him breaking down the Billy Napier hire, and that was great. But we had almost the entire coaching staff of the last. We had
my man. We just had the AD on. So I know we were supposed to get Strickland on, but we
had Foley
on, man. We had the legends. We had pretty much Tebow and Spurrier are really the top of the top of the hierarchy who we really missing. But we've had some goats on this show, man.
Yeah, we've had Jacquez Green and Riedel Anthony. I don't think we'll be able to get Ike. We had Wes Chandler on. That was a great interview. That was the same episode as Urban Meyer. Let's see. I'm trying to look back to see who else.
My pops told me we should have ran West by himself. He was like, "Man, West deserved his own show." Y'all big time seriously with Urban Meyer on the show, man. But that was a great conversation as well with West.
Yeah, we had Carlos Alvarez. That was a great interview. I remember Sharif Floyd. That was early on. That was really a great interview. Channing Crowder. Lito Shepherd, Tony George. I think if you just go down the list of people that we are fortunate enough to have, it's been absolutely incredible. It's been humbling. And I don't think, Silk, when you and I started this, that I ever knew that we would get the likes of Danny Werfel to hop on, 10, 12 episodes in, right? Or to, really break down with, Joey Ivy and what he was up to. I'm just looking back at past guests, and we had, Maurice Spates on. We had Gavin Dickey breaking it down. We had we had the guy from Duke's Mayo Bowl on. We kind of ran through so many different angles and had so
And I
many
promise
great-
you, nobody's having better conversations than us. Like we take interviews serious. Everybody have their different style of podcasting. And all facets of this is needed. But at the Roll Up Network and on Stadium Miguel, we have a different style and a different energy and culture of podcasts. And we slow things down. We have conversations. We like to get personable about ourselves, show our personality. So we do things a little differently around here. And it's been a heck of a run. 3 years in, haven't missed a Tuesday, same corner, same time. Consistency, man. And I appreciate the fans for holding this down. There's some fans don't even there's some Gator fans that just realizing that I had the roll up this year, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
because a lot of Gator fans found me through Stadium Miguel, not the roll up. So Stadium Miguel is just as big as the roll up when you look at like the numbers and everything. It's a juggernaut, man.
absolutely.
So shout out to that.
Over a couple million listens, over 180 episodes. And we have Carl Johnson waiting, so we'll wrap up this portion here second. I think I was looking the other day. We've been listened to in over 115 different countries, which is just incredible. I mean, really, thank you, everybody, for listening. Same corner, same time, each and every week for the last 3 years, and we're excited to keep going. But before we bring Carl on, as always, we want to give a shout-out to our friend Alan Horn with Alan Horn Insurance. If you live in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama, give Alan a call. If you're looking for auto, home, renters, life, business insurance, or retirement planning, 706-692-2888, and visit him at alanhorninsurance.com. Again, 706-692-2888. And without further ado, we welcome a legend on the Florida Gators offensive line, Carl Johnson. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, man.
Dude, First and foremost, let me apologize for last Monday. I had my entire family, my wife's family, my family over, and I just totally forgot. I'm so sorry.
No, it happens, man. It was a holiday. We didn't hold the fans was at our neck like, yo, y'all pump faked us with Carl Johnson. What's up with that? But,
I apologize.
All good, bro.
The family man. So and then Memorial Day is big in my family. I had a grandfather who was an airborne paratrooper in Vietnam. So Memorial Day kind of really hits hard for us. The morning is spent really mourning soldiers. I tell my kids, someone died that don't even know you, so you got the opportunity to sit on your butt today. Someone died so you can eat pizza and grill out.
Absolutely.
Paid the ultimate sacrifice. My grandfather did 2 tours of Vietnam, went back because of what felt his men, his fellow brethren going through. So I had no choice but to dedicate the first half of that day to those men who are gone but never forgotten.
Absolutely.
That's
well
awesome.
said.
Very, very well said. And it would be, I would be remiss to not mention on today, June 6th, 1944 was D-Day. My grandfather served at D-Day. So again, thank you, those that served and those that paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country. So thanks, Carl, for bringing that up and mentioning that as well. But it's good to have you on, and certainly no sweat. And we're excited to chat with you and get to know you a little bit more. Carl, you were a guy, we're the same age. So when I was coming in to UF, we had an elite recruiting class. You had Tim Tebow and Brandon Spikes. You had Percy Harvin. You had Jared Faison. Then you had Carl Johnson in that class, man. Tell us a little bit about how you ultimately decided on UF and what being a part of that recruiting class was like for you.
Being from North Carolina, I actually didn't know anything about the University of Florida. We're ACC country, almost competitive conference. So we watch ACC football, Carolina football, Wake Forest, Duke, NC State. My father was my head coach and O-line coach. So he comes from the coaching clinic from Florida and was like, hey, man, I was the number 1 lineman in the nation. I was going to Duke. No one had known, but I was going to Duke University. Like, we had already, pretty much
play point guard. What are you gonna do?
The radar. I'm just from Durham. Tobacco Road is literally a stone's throw from the crib. I love mama's cooking. You can't beat it. So I was literally going to Duke. No one known. I had the grades. Academically, I was prepared. And I was like, I'm gonna go to Duke. It's right down the street from the crib. And then literally like 2 months before I committed, my dad comes home from the summer camp from Florida and goes, hey man, you need to check out this school named Florida. I'm like, Florida? So I look it up. It was Ron Zook. I think they went like 7-4 or 7-6. I was like, ain't no way I'm going there. Because in my high school in Southern Durham, I lost 4 games in 4 years. We were like a perennial power in North Carolina. Right. We up there with Charlotte Independence. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to Florida. And so he said, hey, man, let's just take a trip. I think it was like June or July. I took my first trip down here, and I was like, I've never seen palm trees. You know what I mean? Like, I'm from Tobacco Road on a farm. So I'm like, what are these? My dad's like, man, these palm trees, da-da-da-da. So I've never seen it. I've seen palm trees, but I've never seen it on a campus. You know, it's always at a pool or like a resort or Jamaica. Right. So I'm like, they live like this? He like, yeah, man, this every day. So then I came back during the season, and they took us to Lake Wahlberg. And that's the first time I really like seen like an open giant lake. You know, I'm from North Carolina. I've seen Falls Lake, but like never like the scenery of Lake Wahlberg. Mm-hmm. And once I saw it, something inside me was like, you're going here. So I walked up to Coach Meyer and I said, hey, Coach, I want to commit to Florida. And he just got emotional. You know, the number 1 lineman in the nation just committed to Florida. And then I think I came to the Tennessee game. And it's also in Tebow's book, this part. I went up to Tebow and I said, if you come to Florida, I'll build you the greatest O-line in UF history. And he said, okay. And then a couple months later, he committed. And then I got on the phone, and the rest is history.
Real quick, what was the process like to becoming the number 1 offensive tackle in the country? Like that comes with a lot of work, a lot of camps. How early in the process did you start playing football?
Actually, I didn't do any camps. My dad didn't believe in camps. My dad's old school, so he was like a legendary Clemson player. Mm-hmm. So he kind of already known the ropes. You know, he already knew what it took, what was inclined, what was the future like. So I think I went to like the Nike Elite camp and then like a Scout.com camp. That was it. That's the only camps I went to. It was just grinding. Like, you got to like the work. You got to like to get out there and bust your butt. I remember I was like 12 years old and we're watching Florida State versus Wake Forest. And I never forget it. I'm laying on the floor in the living room in North Carolina. And I tell my dad, I said, I want to do this. He goes, it's going to be a lot of work, but if you listen to me, you'll be the best. So I get up. He didn't know what I was doing. I get up, I go in my room, I change. I come back downstairs. I say, can we go in the garage and put some work in? And he was shocked, you know, like, what? This is a 12-year-old. And when every day since then, we put in work until I became a parade All-American. I was the first Gatorade player in the history of North Carolina. I just took the torch and ran. You know, I had a father who showed me the way, but also never cursed me, never belittled me, never berated me. Is always love and positive motivation. So it was really easy to be great when you have a strong male leader like that.
Man, that's beautiful. We'll get into that a little bit later. But Urban Meyer's recruiting. He didn't have to do a lot of recruiting with you. But once on campus, he has a process of de-recruiting. What was that process like when you got on campus?
It was a rude awakening because, you know, they sell you the lollipops and cupcakes before they get you on campus. And biggest thing for me that took a long time to really like get over mentally, one was the heat from North Carolina. That heat from Florida is just different. It really took me about a year. And then 2, the way they verbally talk to you. Again, since I was like 10 years old, I had a father that never cursed, never berated, never belittled. So, you know, Dan Gummit, you know, my dad came up in the Danny Ford era. So it's Dan Gummit, Chuck Naked, you know, what in the ham sandwich you doing, boy? And then I
In Florida, we didn't get that from coaches, man. They curse you out, bro.
Yeah, dude. And coming from a father who never cursed,
right?
And then you get MF, you fat slob. It literally like reset me mentally. Like, it like knocked me down on like a self-esteem pole. So it took me like a year and my father to kind of like walk me through that phase because like I have never been talked to like that. So my reaction to that type of verbiage was say it back to the coaches, which we all know like the old South coaches don't like you talking back to them. So it took me about a year. It took me from the spring of 06 to like the spring of 07. And then I kind of got my legs underneath me.
Nice.
Carl, you redshirted that first year when the Gators won the national championship, the first of your two. What was that experience like? You go from being a parade All-American, you're a 5-star, number 1 ranked offensive lineman in the country, and then your first year you're redshirted. Did you know you were going to be redshirted? And then, but ultimately, mentally, what's that like during your first year?
I mean, to be honest, like I wanted to transfer like a month after coming into to the University of Florida. I called my parents. I called my dad because he knew the rules. And he was just like, oh, you already went to your first class. You got to sit out. But we were going to do the hardship because being from North Carolina, coming down. But it was really due to the coaches, how Urban just treated people and talked to you. And then, like, my life story, I was adopted. So I was adopted at 9 to my parents that I call my dad and mom. So, like, I came from a really abusive, like, bio mother. Like, I mean, extremely abusive, dude. Like, I can't even – I have a Netflix story coming out about it. Like, crazy abusive. So like when I got to Florida and the way they talked to me, they kind of took me back to like an 8-year-old, 7-year-old getting abused. So it took me a little bit to kind of get over that mental hurdle. And so I wanted to transfer because I was like, Dad, they just mean, they just nasty to me. They used to call me BFC, Big Fat Carl, just because I was bigger than everyone. So it took a long mental hurdle. But then my dad was like, going in at the end of 06, redshirting. And I was like, I want to transfer. I want to be here. I want to leave. And he was like, oh, man, you're gonna hurt recruiting there. How would it look? You know, Urban can't satisfy the number 1 lineman in the nation. And I'm still friends with like Andre Smith and them. You know, I'm talking to him and he just shows up to Alabama and start playing. They like embrace him like, hey, you the guy. Come on, you know, be the guy for us. And then I come to Florida. They like, you ain't shit. You garbage. And I'm like, how am I garbage? I'm the number 1 lineman. Right. But that's how they treated you.
Yeah.
So after my dad was like, hey, man, this is like everywhere you go. And then he kind of was like, every spring we would go to the Keys to kind of reset my mind. And he would just talk to me. He had a strong message. Is listen to what they're saying, not how they're saying. You know, get the message out of it. Like he would always say, you're going to go through hell no matter what, so get something out of it. So I just had to reset my mind and start playing football and letting them see like why I was so highly recruited. And then like the verbiage kind of, as I became that guy, they kind of slowed down of their harsh treatment.
Did you notice that with a lot of players that came onto campus? I mean, was it a de-recruitment process for everybody? Did you feel targeted at all, or was it?
I don't want to say everybody. I would say the more ghetto-ish you were, the less they kind of mess with you if they knew you were going to like buck. You know, like they knew the guy that will buck versus the guy. They knew kids who came from suburbia wouldn't buck, and I was like a suburbia kid, so they kind of knew like, oh, he just gonna kind of take it. But like as I became that guy, I kind of like made him eat it because I came more and more rebellious as I got older and older and better. I kind of started bucking on them, which they, you know how they paint you as a character issue guy as you kind of find your own manhood. Like I had a father who was like, be a man, stand on what you believe in. He always tell us never bite your tongue because you should never like the way it tastes. So as I started expressing myself to them, they didn't really like it. But yeah, I would say majority of the players, majority of the teams had I would call it briefing phase. Like the military, they had to kind of knock you back into reality. Because some of us came in a little big-headed.
What's up?
So, Carl, your first year, you redshirt, you guys won a national championship. And then after that, the offensive line that you talked about, obviously there's a lot of graduations, after that national championship. And then the year after, you start Tebow's Heisman, or you start playing Tebow's Heisman year. And then over the next, couple of years, you guys do create one of the best offensive lines in UF history with the Pounceys and the rest of the gang. How did that all begin to mesh, and how did you guys ultimately become such a good unit? Because obviously you guys had a lot of great players, but you guys were a consistently and highly rated unit beyond just individual players.
I would say through suffering together. As a collegiate athlete, you kind of like go through it with your brethrens. So we were watching like Metter, Jason Watt, Jim Tart, Drew Miller. I mean, I'm not no disrespect to guys if they're listening or their family tell them like we love them. But damn it, I knew since a freshman I was better than them. I'm pretty sure the Pounceys knew they were better than them. Marcus knew better than them. But like, no disrespect to Steve Adazio, I don't really think he coached any real talent before. I think we was his first group of talent. He's a grinder. He comes from Indiana, you know, all these small schools where you had to develop linemen. You know, you had to kind of like create them. He was the first time in Florida where he got like athletes who just so happened to be O linemen. Versus you got to develop us. We literally was just naturally. We were D linemen who were too fat and hated to run. We were aggressive. We liked to fight. We were down for whatever smoke you had. We were like all 5 of us, like, yeah, come on, we'll jump you together as a group. We down. We'll fight you in the locker room. We'll fight you on the field. So we had like a defensive mind mentality as O linemen. So I think like how Dazio kind of like grinded into us, it kind of like made us like be around each other more, depend on each other more, vent to each other more. So then as we got to playing, we had already went through the worst of it, like redshirting. Like think of Mike Pouncey, man. They had a first round draft pick playing D line as a freshman. Like, come on, like it needs to be elite coaches. It's talent. They never seen talent like that before. So it's like, well, hell, what do we do? Just put them in where you can fit them in. So and then after that whole 07 season, after losing, because I came in like third, I think Ole Miss game. I came in after Jim Tart got hurt and Marcus got hurt. They finally let me play, and then I just went crazy. Like I refused to let it go. You know what I mean? And I had a broken wrist, like while going nuts out there. And then I think going into 08, we had already went through the thick of it with each other. So then it was more like, all right, guys, we know what it takes. And then like those 06 guys kind of let us know that this was their championship, you know, like the Chris Leaks, the Jarvis Moss, the Ray McDonald's, the Brandon Silas, the Joe Coens. They made it very clear this was their championship. So we had a chip on our shoulder like, all right, I bet you at the end of ours, they won't even know who the 06 team is. And they're going to only talk about our championship. And look at today, most fans remember us from the 08 championship than the 06 championship. It sucks that we didn't get a chance to go for 09 because we were ready. I promise you, we were ready. Just, you know, people throwing parties and falling asleep. So it blows it. We were ready to repeat. That's something we wanted to do. We wanted to erase like the legacy of any other champion at Florida. We wanted to pretty much be our school. Like that was something like we talked about in the locker room. That was something we talked about at training table. We talked about in tutoring. It was like, man, when we leave here, they ain't gonna know nothing about no other Gator team ever. They're gonna only talk about us.
Give me some practice energy. What was practice like? I hear like Ahmad. We started this show with Ahmad, so we know about the practice coach, how competitive it was.
Oh, man, practice was like the gladiators of Gladiator Showdown. Like you had to be modest for TV on Saturday, but come practice, dude. Like I said, you had an offense who was violent. You had a front five who didn't take shit from nobody. You had a defense with Spikes and Joe Hayden. I mean, Major Wright, Carlos Dunlap, Jermaine Cunningham, Ryan Stamper. I mean, you had an elite defense that we used to thrash every day.
Yeah. You offense won most of those battles?
Every day.
Oh, maybe we need to get Ahmad on here because he was telling some different stories. He had some different energy on the defensive side of the ball.
7-on-7, I'm pretty sure the receivers win. But when we went BPU, we dominated. When we went goal line, we dominated. We won more times than we lost win or lose days. We always won more than we lost.
Who was your toughest battle in the trenches on the defensive line?
I'm sorry?
Who was your toughest battle in the trenches on the defensive line in practice?
It was Jermaine. For me, Jermaine Cunningham was my arch nemesis. Like they used to always put me and him together. On one-on-one pass rush, BPU, it was always me and him. I was a pretty good natural pass blocker. I had a father who was an O-lineman. So I was like literally taught NFL O-line in high school. So when I got to Florida, they kind of had to like regress me because Adagio didn't like what I was taught. But if you look at the Pounceys or Marcus or any one of us who went pro, I was just talking to Marcus like last year, and he was like, man, you was pro ready when you got to Florida. Like your dad had you NFL ready at Florida. I think that's something I should have taken more careful in is looking at a coach who's coached high-level players before, so like first rounders. I mean, I had a coach at NC State that I really liked, Coach Barry. He was known for producing first rounders from NC State with Chuck Amato. But I just didn't like Chuck Amato.
Yeah.
He just, hey guys, welcome to NC State. No way. But I just wasn't really familiar with Adagio. So when I got here, they had to like tweak how the Pounceys played. I had to tweak how Marcus played. I had to tweak how I played. But if you look at how those guys played in the league, they played exactly like they did in high school. Wild, loose, reckless, flying everywhere all over the field. But like Adazio on us, duck waddle, choppy feet, put your weight in your feet, knees to hands, all this stuff that, I mean, when you get to the NFL, no one even cares about that shit. It's, can you block this guy? Yes or no?
Right.
So, but practicing was, I mean, it was intense, dude. It's the reason why we dominated how we did, because practice was extreme. When I say extremely intense, it was extremely intense. Man, we used to fight the D lineman every day.
Yeah. Who had the best hands on the team?
Stop doing one-on-one pass rush because how much we fought.
So who had the best hands on the team?
I don't know.
This is the question. This is what
it would just be brawls. I mean, it'd be 40, 50 people just going at it.
I like it. What was it like being in the huddle with Tim Tebow? What was his leadership like in the locker room? You guys won a national championship. The whole run, watching his maturation.
He was that guy. I mean, we didn't really interact much with other positions. The Florida was power to unit. Be with your guys, your group, do your job. So we would see Tebow in practice and maybe offensive film setting. But he was a good leader. I mean, he was a man's man. He'll take it on the chin if it was his fault. He never made excuses. He never blamed someone else for what he did. Let's say in the game he made a bad pass in the huddle, he'll say, "Dang it, guys, that's on me. I made a throw." I think that's a great leader.
You curse like your dad.
Yeah, dang it.
Dadgummit.
So he'll be like, "Dang, guys, that's on me. I made a bad read or I made a bad throw." And we'll be like, "Hey, man, it's okay. Let's just get this play." And I think that made it easier to go to war with a leader who never said, why was this guy close to me? I didn't have a clean pocket.
Right.
Get more separation. It was always his fault first. Even if film showed it wasn't, he would take it on the chin. So that makes it easier for you to do your job, because if you mess up, then you can just be like, "Damn, Tebow, my bad. I'm gonna make up for it." And he'll be like, "Yeah, I know you will." And so you would just be ready to go to war for him.
Carl, what was that year? Because you were there in 2010. That was the year that the Gators go undefeated during the regular season. They lose to Alabama, beat Cincinnati, and then not long after that, Urban Meyer takes a step down for about 36 hours. Steve Adazio takes over. He comes back, but Steve Adazio takes over during the offseason. What was that, couple of days and couple of weeks, and then, ultimately a couple of months that led you into that next season like?
I would say a level of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
I think it caught everybody off guard. Him just like, "Oh, I'm out. I'm not now, but I have heart problems, complications." It just was like, whoa, because I said something in a team meeting. I was like, "Well, you told my mom that you were going to be there until I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
This is my last year. Kind of, you got to be a man of your word." I think at that point, at that young, none of us really understood what was happening, because we're like 18, 19, 20.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're that young, you're kind of like naive to whatever the issue is of the coach or the coaching staff. So it was more like, what's going on? I think that's never happened in college football since or prior. So a coach just up and leave at the end of a hot season, going into another,
But Carl, was there? I didn't mean to cut you off, but there had to be some type of drama. Because we message board fans, we knew some of the drama that was going on around the city, on the campus. Was there any drama leading up to that? Like, it wasn't intense, awkward, nothing leading up to that?
I mean, at that point, no, not from my end. Because I was just focused on getting the hell out of Florida. So my thing was just get through the process and get out of here. Like, just get out of here.
Right.
So like, I was just like the old saying, keep your head down and your eyes open. So I didn't see, you hear the rumors. I'm not going to go into all the rumors that was going on. Now we're seeing what happened to Jacksonville. I kind of believe the rumors more so now. Which is, I also find it as an oxymoron, is like how you tell the players don't drink the poison, stay away from vices. And then your head coach has vices.
Mm-hmm.
We're children. And my thing is, like, I talk to mentor other people today, is how do the system rain down hard on children but give grown-ass men a slap on the wrist?
Right.
Imagine if that was a player doing what he got caught doing. And now look at him. He still can follow up with a multi-million-dollar job. I know dudes who got drunk in college and made a bad decision who still can't get an opportunity to coach today. And this guy just keeps getting opportunity after opportunity. But I mean, at that young, you didn't really believe it. But now that I'm older, I believe 85% of the rumors that were floating around. But I mean, most of us would have NFL aspirations.
Yeah.
If they lie and tell you they didn't, they lying, because that's all we ever talked about was going pro, getting out of here. So I think all of us who were elite knew where we were headed, and we were kind of focused on that. Nice. Man, I wish I was college now, but these boys killing it with these.
They getting that check, ain't they?
God, I was the number one lineman in the nation. Boy, how much do you think they would have paid me?
Oh, you getting that? You
$3,
getting
$4
that?
mil?
I'm trying to tell you. Man, they was gonna back up the Brinks truck.
But they were kicking you out for getting a free meal, and these boys eating like this. Like, it's crazy.
Here's the thing, though. Urban Meyer was giving out the NIL bag, but you was just you came and loved the lake. You didn't get none of that, man. I'm pretty sure Urban was handing out some duffels.
I mean, I heard the
some
stories.
Things.
I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny. Hear the stories on buying rims and apartments, moving families down here. I can't confirm nor deny. But
Carl's not confirming, but he's definitely not denying.
I can't confirm nor deny, but I heard the stories, let's say, of what he's done for some families. But my family didn't need nothing. No, my dad had played in the league. They had money. My mom was making like over 100K back in 2003, 2004. So like my parents really didn't need. So it wasn't like they were needing Carl to be successful for the family. Like I tell people, money's supposed to flow like a river. You ever see money flowing upstream? The moment you got to take care of mom and dad, you blew the money. Money's supposed to flow like water downstream. It's supposed to go from you to your children and your children, your children. That's why it's called generational wealth. The moment you take your money and take care of your mama and grandmama, uncles, you blew generational wealth. It's over.
Talk that talk, Carl. Carl came to preach to the congregation, the choir, and everybody else.
I heard this when I was like 10, dude, from my parents. It's like
talk that talk, man.
You're never supposed to take care of your parents. The money supposed to flow down river, and the moment you go backwards with the bag, you blew generational wealth.
Ooh, you sound like a rapper, Carl.
Real financial advisor, they would tell you if your mom ain't got it by the time you get it, she don't deserve it.
Ooh, Carl, talk that lingo. Big lingo, man.
Carl, what are you up to these days?
I own my own restaurant. I used to have my own home care business just due to the sadness of it. I had to let it go during the pandemic. Just families don't treat each other right. I'm not going to go into other people. Plus the HIPAA law, I can't really go too much. I'm still for 7 years. But it's just home care is very sad. You see children literally stabbing their parents in the back for inheritance or only coming around when it's the money drop for the money. And their parents are, worship every word they say. They walk on every cloud that they step. And it's just sad to see them only come around Thanksgiving or the birthday when the money drops. So I just told her, wife, eventually something like that eats away at you. And before it taints me, I'm going to leave. So I just sold it like 2 years ago. And then I started, I went to school to learn how to cook, get my chef certification. So now I own my own restaurant and I do bagels and like.
I've seen them bagels, man.
Yeah. And I do like French cuisine, French brunch. And we're in the middle of getting it built right now. So I'm doing what I love. I love being in the kitchen as a fat man. I love food. And if you can cook it, you never have to endure a bad meal.
You're back in the Durham area or?
No, I'm still in Gainesville. My parents.
Oh, no kidding.
2007. Just because financially, flying home and away games, rental cars, hotels, food, it just got so expensive. So they moved down here in 2007.
That's awesome. Carl, I was reading a little bit. I know you were involved with Johnny Townsend's event that he had at the Orange and Blue game. Talk to us a little bit about the Fraternity of Uf Football. You still keep in touch with a lot of guys and you guys get together pretty often or you do any reunions or anything?
We talk all the time. It's like a brotherhood. I think now all of us are family men. So getting together other than like the Gator events is a little harder. But we talk all the time. It's like, it's so crazy because I cannot see those guys for like 3-4 years. And the moment I see them, it's like we see each other every day. It's like we're back in college, joking, laughing, having a good time. But I think when you endure with someone, it's like, put it like this. I tell my kids this, the Gator logo means more to me than fun. I know people who broke bones, tore ligaments. I've cried with my brothers who could never play. So it's like a soldier seeing an American flag. It means a lot more than fun to me. Like Jim Barry, I bet you wouldn't be talking to me today if Jim Barry would have never blew his knee out. You would never talk to the Pounceys either. He was starting before all of us until he blew his knee out. So guys like that you would never know who they really are. I remember those guys, when I was on the bench in 06 and Mike is playing defense and Marquise is center, but nobody realized that before Marquise became the center, Jim Barry was that guy. But he blew his knee out in that training camp, and then Keith stepped in, and the rest is history. But what if he never blew his knee out? You know what I mean? Like, so it means a lot more to me than the average person. I remember, looking at BT, a safety that was before Ahmad Black. If BT would never blew his knee out, would you even know who Ahmad Black is? Because BT was one of the top safeties.
If you ask Ahmad, yes.
I mean, I would say, Ahmad was a hard worker, but it'll be one hell of a fight because BT was 6'2", ran like a 4'4",
sure.
highly recruited. And
He's from Zephyr Hills, right? I remember him. Like, he was a real good prospect.
Yeah, dude. He was a ball hawk. Ahmad was a hitter. BT was like Ed Reed. He'll hit you if he had to, but he gonna snatch that ball first. But he blew his knee out in practice. You never heard from him. So it's guys like that I think about all the time. So we like brotherhood. It's like a frat. I love those guys to death. Anytime they need anything, I talk to my boy Mo Hurt all the time on social media. They ever need anything, I'm one phone call away. I don't care what it is.
That's what's up.
That's awesome. Well, Carl, man, we appreciate you coming on. Do you want to plug your restaurant real quick before we head out?
Follow Egg and Bagel on all social media platforms. Hit us up on Google. If you're in the Gainesville area, any one of you two, anytime this fall, stop on by.
I'm up there tomorrow, man.
Come on. I mean, the restaurant's getting built, so saws and stuff, but come on over sometime. I think we should be open like middle of August, so I'll
during the season.
Out the address. Egg and Bagels, come through, get some bagels, come get some French cuisine. We have Cornish hens, lemon sircot, endive, Swedish char. I make a chocolate mousse from scratch. I also has an apricot dessert. So come on through. I'll come for you.
Okay, Carl.
There it is. What part of town are you going to be in?
Let's laugh and eat.
What part of town are you going to be in?
Right by Hale Plantation.
There you go.
Location.
I'm pulling up, Carl. I'm coming to check out the bagels, my guy.
Yeah, come on, eat. Come have some fun and let's laugh.
Awesome,
all right, man. Thanks for hanging out, man. We appreciate you for pulling up, man.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a good night.
Appreciate you, Carl. Great interview with Carl Johnson, man. I want to get him back on. I feel like there's some stories that he didn't share. We still got some time for him to get a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, we're going to bring him back on to check out that restaurant as well. I seen him on social media. He commented on some of the Janora stuff, or he was liking, and I seen him. I was like, oh, that's Carl Johnson. I forgot I was following him. So I hit him up, like, hey, man, you want to come on and hang out? He's like, sure, let's do it. But the bagels, the food, all the stuff he got going looks fire. I thought it was some random Carl Johnson that was making bagels. I was like, nah, that's Decor Johnson that played at UF.
I love it, man. Well, let's give a quick shout out to our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale. Get 15% off of your order. Corey, you've got one coming in the mail, but they just dropped a completely brand new Gators shirt on Friday. It is the script baseball logo that they wear on a white T-shirt. So wear your Florida Gator baseball script Florida logo with pride. Use promo code Stadium and Gale. Get 10% off of your 15% off of your order when you use that promo code. So again, homefieldapparel.com. With that being said, speaking of restaurants in Gainesville, Sil, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of dollars I spent in my life at the Swamp restaurant.
Thousands is a lot because usually great deals on liquor in there, man. So
it was great deals, but we were there. Yeah. I remember when I was an undergrad, we were there for 50 or 25-cent wing night and $5 bucket night. And then obviously after college was there often, made it a pregame and postgame ritual to hang out on the Swamp patio, Swamp restaurant patio. And then unfortunately, the Swamp restaurant, the original Swamp restaurant there on University was bought by a developer. They're bulldozing it, building some condos, apartments.
I thought they only gentrified the hood then.
No. Taking away our restaurants too. But lo and behold, not long after the announcement was made that the Swamp restaurant would be bulldozed, there was a petition to save the Swamp. And sure enough, the Swamp is being saved in a slightly different location. But with that, we're going to welcome the CEO and owner of Swamp Restaurant, Ryan Prudeski, onto the show. Ryan, my friend, it is a pleasure to have you this evening.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure and to be here. I love what you guys do. Follow the podcast all the time. I heard you have an all-star lineup today. Trying to figure out what I'm doing here, but other than that, I'm happy to be here, guys.
Well, we're excited to have you. Well, Ryan, want to talk a little bit about the new Swamp Restaurant that you guys are building over there in the Innovation District. Is that what we're calling it over there?
Correct. Yes.
The Innovation District over in Gainesville, in between kind of Sorority Row and downtown. Talk to us about the new Swamp Restaurant that y'all are building.
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited. Everything worked out, the way that it should have. It's one of those things in life where they say, you just, if you keep grinding, everything will work out. And, to make a long story short, it was a sad day when Swamp was torn down. There were, I could tell stories for days about it, but there were kids tailgating, watching them tear it down. And, luckily we had known it was coming for a while. And then it just didn't feel right going under, 5 stories of apartments in a 6-story building, not having a front lawn, not having everything that made Swamp, what Swamp really was. Swamp was a gathering place. It was a neighborhood meeting hall. It was a place for Gator Nation to, come and not only, alumni, relive some of their best memories, students create some of their best memories, but just a place for Gator Nation to have a home. And, when the prospective builder that had the property approached us, it was a no-brainer to, the wheels started turning immediately that day. And, the first thing I did was went and got a copy of the old blueprints. And, that was day one, so we started off of the old blueprints. And, in that innovation district, which is growing tremendously, every time I go down there, I'm worried about getting a darn nail in my tire from, all the construction that's going on, apartments and, all kinds of commerce and educational buildings and homes and all of that. It's really exciting to be part of that. It's exciting to be part of that area. And it's also exciting to, create a new neighborhood, but also not be removed from UF and from the campus life and from, close enough to the stadium, basketball, football, you name it. I think that we're in the right spot at the right time.
So, Ryan, you said that you took the original blueprints. Obviously, everybody's only hiccup with the original blueprints was that the bathroom was right next to the exit to the kitchen. And you would have probably 30 dudes standing in line trying to use the trough there. And then you had probably 20 ladies waiting at the same time and trying to navigate in and out of the waiters with their food and the bus carts and everything else. Talk to us a little bit maybe about how that might be changing a little bit. So there's a little bit more free flow for everybody.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a little update on, what we've done and what we've changed. And that was the best part of the whole design process. I mean, I was going back through it the other night, and, we started in January of 2021 with the design process. And, what I did was I made a list of all of our pressure points, all the, just like you said, it was try to get to the kitchen on a game day. And, you basically got to fight your way through it. Some of those girls that, Swamp girls that work for us, I put them in a MMA fight, and I'm putting my money on them any day because they didn't put up with anything. So, what we did, and I'm excited to announce it here as an exclusive. I don't think we put this out on social media yet or anywhere, but the bathrooms have been segmented from any egress to where it's going. You're going into the restroom, and that's what's going to happen there. And we also have added 2 extra stalls downstairs and 2 extra stalls upstairs. So the log jam, that famous Swamp log jam, hopefully will not be a thing anymore. We also have an elevator too. So if you had a couple too many and you don't want to take the wobbly stairs, you can take your elevator upstairs as well.
Any changes to decor or menu?
Well, yes and no is the right answer to that. We saved everything. I actually went and got I went and picked up Al Horford's jersey today that used to hang around the bar. Everything's in storage. So we're going to reuse as much as we can as far as the decor. There's so much history in it. The place became Swamp is almost like a Gator museum. There's so many memories made there, so many different, athletes and famous people, celebrities that have come through the Swamp. So as far as the decor, there will be some updates. There's some cool stuff that, that I'm excited about. When people come in there and, they're going to notice, they're going to notice some new and some old. I mean, basically it's basically just an update or a rebrand. As far as the menu, all the favorites are staying. So anybody that's worried about the buffalo tender wrap, the tuna bowl, the freshman 15, all the good stuff on there, all that's coming back. We're updating the menu a bit, just changing with the times is, updating to what's, what we think Gainesville will enjoy and what we think that, should be on the menu. And a lot of it has turned into a lot of, farm fresh. We're gonna have some vegan options, which we didn't have.
Let's
before.
go. Let's go.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm excited about that, and just to get people I still got you.
Yeah.
There you go.
We there?
Yeah, we got you.
We got you. I think you hear us.
All right. Sorry, guys. Getting the phone.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
You hear us?
You back?
Can you hear us?
You hear us?
I think
hear
got
us?
a phone call during the middle.
Yeah. He'll be back.
Yeah, well, while we wait for him to come back, that buffalo tender wrap was my go-to. Obviously, the chicken wings
That was
were
my
too.
bag when I used to eat chicken. That was my Philly big wrap.
That thing slapped.
Yeah.
I got to ask him if we're gonna get 50-cent wing nights back. When him and I were chatting a few
Inflation.
weeks
It's
ago,
probably like $5 wing night. I don't think it's
Bro,
50 cents no more.
Bro, it's nuts. He said when we were on the phone that wings are $1.79 now. Per.
Sorry, guys.
Jeez. Ryan, how are you, man? We're just talking about wing prices.
Yeah, back to the menu and wing prices. Right now, wings are incredibly expensive. I'm sure you guys have seen the news, but we're doing everything we can with the menu to bring back the staples. We will have. I was just talking today about doing some NFL specials and on Sundays, and bring back the wing night and bucket nights, and all the good stuff that made Swamp what it was. I mean, it was a place where you could come and you could eat on a budget, you could drink on a budget, and people came back and they felt comfortable, they felt at home, and that's what we have to offer out there, and that's our number one selling point. You got a nice, comfortable. We got the front lawn back. We got the interior for the summer when it's 150 degrees outside, and then the AV TVs and speaker system is bar none, second to none for what we're going to have, and we have plans to continue to expand it as well. So we want to be, our goal is to be. Swamp has always been the go-to place for Gator games, for any big football game, NFL, for NBA finals, for MMA, big matches, stuff like that. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here.
What do you think about the overall? Sorry, Dan. What do you think about the overall growth of Gainesville, like the changes?
That's incredible. I mean, I got here in 2001, and I can't believe, from the time that I enrolled in school to the time that, we're in now. I think the changes are good. I think that, I hate seeing some of the stuff that's going on in Midtown. For us in losing Swamp, I think there were some alternatives, but, we never really got the opportunity from, we leased the space, so we never really got the opportunity to improve that building and improve that property. They sold it to an out-of-town company. But I mean, I think overall, Gainesville's doing a great job. It's nice to see progress. Celebration Point's great. There's a lot of good things going out west in Tioga, and then a lot of construction, a lot of building around campus. So it's nice to see, especially all the new sports complexes. I mean, that's a game changer. For the Gators and Gator Nation. We were behind in the arms race. That was one thing. We didn't have an indoor practice facility. We didn't have a student rec center, football facility. And now, we're starting to catch up. And I think that, for us, it's great to see that we're going to be able to compete with Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, on their level in terms of our facilities. And, that's one more thing, we want to add for us, a good restaurant and bar scene that people come to town, they enjoy it, and Gainesville becomes that, that beacon of freedom in college football, to where, this place is great. If I'm going to go see a game, I want to go to Gainesville. I want to experience it because there's so much to do here.
Right.
Ryan, do you guys have a decided on opening date yet?
We're looking at we're targeting early August, barring any setbacks. So, I told the guys as we're doing construction, we went through this, and I said, guys, we got to get August, because you can't throw me in on the Friday before Utah. I'll go, you might find me hanging from the rafters or something by the end of the day, but at that point, so we're just hiding in a closet somewhere. But no, we're targeting
some preseason
early August.
runs.
Yeah, I need a couple preseason games to get back. I tell people, I use the analogy. It's like starting a car that's been under a tarp for 30 years. Like, once we get it up and running, it's going to go. But it's getting, I'm getting nothing in there. I got to move all the equipment in there, and we got to, get the staff hired, and we're in the process of doing interviews all week. And so, shout out any listeners if you're looking for jobs. We're certainly hiring in the moment, and trying to put together the ultimate optimal swamp staff again, and just have a crew that likes to come out, make a little bit of money, and show people a good time.
That's awesome, man. Well, Ryan, I want to look back on some of the swamp as we kind of wrap up here. A couple of swamp restaurant memories. I want to look back. You've been involved with the Swamp Restaurant for over 20 years now, and I do want to give a shout out. I ran into your buddy and my friend Jeremy Griner yesterday at the hockey game, so shout out Jeremy. He wanted to make sure I said that. But a lot of memories over the last 20 years. You had multiple national championships, and obviously some of my favorite memories of being in school were storming University Avenue, and you guys were right there. You had people in trees and people climbing light poles and stoplights and everything else. What are some of the memories that stick out to you? Or talk to us a little bit about some of the semantics of hosting that crowd for some of those national championship games as well.
Yeah, I think, the national title years were something that, I don't know if that's ever duplicated. One, it's unreal to have, back to back, with basketball and football was, that's, you can't make that up. So, we got to a point where, Swamp kind of perfected. We actually everybody would have to leave so we could organize the place after lunch, and people would start lining up down 17th Avenue at, roughly 10 a.m., 9 a.m. to get a table. It was almost like the Rowdies trying to get into the O'Connell Center. But those, and then obviously they win, and then the place clears out and everybody's climbing poles and dancing in the street and, stuff like that. But I think for me personally, there's two memories that really stick out. And one was the first one is Chiozza when he hit in Madison Square Garden. And, I seriously, I had to gather all the Swamp staff, all the servers and the girls, and we took it behind the bar just in case he hit it, because we knew it was going to be pandemonium. And obviously, luckily he hits the shot. And I swear to you guys, if they had a Richter scale somewhere over across the street on campus, there was an earthquake that night. That building shook. That building, I don't know how the building didn't fall down, to be honest with you. That by that point, that building was used and abused. But that was one of the most incredible scenes for the next 2 or 3 minutes that I've ever seen. And the other was the touchdown from Will Grier against Tennessee. Another one when we were kind of down and out, and all of a sudden you get this guy, throwing a bomb, and winning the game. And that was another moment that was just, surreal. And that's the beauty of Swamp. And that's what's so cool about it is, you can remember where you were during those moments. You see the highlights down the road, and, you remember being at Swamp. And that for me is what's special about the place, and what really, we're in the business to help, create memories.
That's awesome, man. Well, Corey, you got anything before we wrap up?
No, that's it, man. Can't wait to see you in the fall. I'm trying all them vegan options. The vegan is my bag, man.
I got you, man. You send me a text and let me know what you want to see on that menu.
Got you. Oh man, I want to see a
restaurant consultant, Corey.
Right. Don't threaten me with a good time, Ryan. It'll be a dish named after me, bro.
Well, we pay in food though, so just it's not a paid position, but it's paid in trade. So.
No doubt, man. Excited to pull back up on you guys, man.
Yeah, we are too. So you guys, I wish you guys the best, and I'd love to work with you guys sometime. Have you down to the restaurant anytime. You guys are welcome to come down and do a show or something like that. Or
For sure.
I love what you guys do, and keep up the good work. And like I said, we'll be open. We'll be open before you know it, and it's gonna be a hell of a time.
All right, thanks for coming through, Ryan.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Ryan.
guys.
We'll be there. We'll talk soon, my friend. Excited about doing some stuff with you guys in the fall.
All right, gentlemen. You have a great day.
Best of luck with everything.
Son.
Thank you.
I got to pull up.
Many, many memories from the Swamp Restaurant. Excited to have that back in Gainesville. Obviously a slightly different location, but still close enough to campus where you can have that true college feel still. Let's give a quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. Use promo code STADIUM to get 10% off of your order. The best vacuum sealed cups on the market, over 350 schools, a bunch of different NFL players who are doing some NIL things, some PGA things. Go check them out again, GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code STADIUM for 10% off of your order. Silk, as we run through Gator news, congratulations to the women's softball team for their run in Oklahoma City. Unfortunately, they did end up losing to UCLA. So they did take the two losses that will have them removed from the series. But congratulations to them for making the Women's College World Series. Did a fantastic job, a fantastic season, and certainly a memorable run there at the end. Do also want to commemorate the men's baseball team, which is still in a rain delay. They are in the final game of a 2-game series against Oklahoma, lost to Oklahoma early on, came around, bounced back, beat Central Michigan again under an outstanding performance from Karsten Finvold, who just had an incredible performance, pitched 27 outs after taking the game over in the first inning, bases loaded and no outs, didn't throw one pitch over 90 miles an hour. So in this day and age, you just don't hear a lot about that, but the Gators currently up 2-1 against Oklahoma Sooners in the final game of the regional. If they win this game, they will be heading up to Blacksburg, Virginia. So we had a big recruiting weekend. Treyon Webb was a big name that was in town. Grayson Howard was there, as well as Aiden Mizell. Obviously, a lot of news is still coming out about the weekend and everything else. But what's your take of where Florida's at right now with recruiting after another big visitor weekend?
Yeah, it's a really good weekend. Plenty of linebackers. I like the chemistry of linebackers that they did have on campus. Aiden Mizell. We spoke about Treyon Webb. All those guys are just and he sent out a tweet pretty much saying that he's taking his time. He's been committed to 2 programs before. He enjoyed the visit and everything. And he's been on campus a lot. Most of these kids, Aiden Mizell, all of them been on campus quite a little bit here. But these kids, it's a lot more involved in recruiting. As we can see, the culture of committing on big visits, all that's dying. It's not the same no more across the country. Kids it's money involved, it's business involved. And I think a lot of these kids want to see where their coaches end up. It's more business. The approach is a little different these days. So I didn't expect, I didn't sit by my phone waiting on anybody to pop. It's not how this works anymore.
Yeah.
But overall, the feedback that I'm hearing so far, I like it. I think we're still leading for Aiden Mizell, which is a huge need. All of those linebackers are saying great things. Shout out to James Bates and Chaney, the guys that are involved in the linebacker recruiting. I think we're in a good space. We got the visit of Jaden Rashada coming up this week as well. Our receiver board, I think we didn't get into what's his name, Williams, Hakeem Williams. We didn't make his final 6 or 7. But I think the wide receiver board is plenty fine. That's a kid that you want to land. But I think once you get Jaden Rashada, there's going to be some receiver names that pop up in our board. Maybe going to change a little bit once a guy like Jaden Rashada comes on board. If he comes on board, I'm not guaranteeing anything. But getting a quarterback like that changes everything.
Right. So, but we'll talk about Jaden Rashada here in a second, just to update Treyon Webb, again, the 4-star running back out of Trinity Christian in Jacksonville, the nephew, I believe, of former Florida Gators defensive back D Webb and former Stadium and Gale guest. He has announced that he will no longer visit Tennessee. He still has a visit to South Carolina on June 10th and a visit to Penn State on June 24th. He is
That's the one. That's the one that's the only one I would worry about. And
the
I'm
Penn
not worried.
State?
Yeah, just Sider. The Sider can
Yeah.
recruit. He gets running backs out of the state of Florida. He get him drafted. He has a resume, so Sider would be the only threat there. But I feel good where we at with Treyon Webb's recruitment, especially with D Webb in our corner.
Yeah, obviously a guy that's been to the University of Florida a lot is going to announce on June 30th his commitment. And like you said, Silk, the word on the street is just because he has been committed twice in his past that he just wants to make 100% certainty that that's the school for him. So again, June 30th is the day to be looking out for. Grayson Howard, one of the linebackers that you mentioned. So also out of Jacksonville from Andrew Jackson High School, 6'3", 208 pounds, 4-star on 3 and the on 3 consensus. Right now it looks to be a Florida, South Carolina battle for him with Clemson, Texas A&M, and Georgia rounding out that top 5. A lot of momentum with the Gators. There's still a lot of connection back to South Carolina with that program. And Grayson Howard does seem to be trending a little bit more in Florida's way.
We took their linebacker coach, so we should be in a good space.
Well, hopefully he's got a return visit to Gainesville on June 17th as an unofficial visit, and then he's going to be visiting Georgia this weekend, and then South Carolina the weekend of the 24th on official visits. So again, South Carolina is a team that's been trending heavily for them for a long time, but Billy Napier, Mike Peterson, Jay Bateman, the Gators linebacker coach, are all working quite closely to try to get him to continue to surge.
We can get him in like Sammy Morris, dog. We'll be doing some real gangster things with our linebacker core, bro. I like all the linebackers we had on campus, but Sammy Brown is another one that's going to be a dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on, Aiden Mizell, speedster. Both of his parents went to the University of Florida. Aiden Mizell has visited, Gainesville obviously a lot since growing up. Originally from Orlando, has an opportunity to make a big splash. Still going to be visiting Alabama and Georgia on official visits before the end of the month. But UF does look to be in the driver's seat. He is a top 50 on 3 player. So again, Aiden Mizell, so can we parlay this into to Jaden Rashada. That's the kind of guy that Florida needs. They've been missing on a lot of speed. They've got a lot of big, tall wide receivers. Now it's time to get some speed. And I think that Aiden Mizell checks all those boxes you want.
Yes, sir. That's a guy that Bama's going to come out the heavy later on. But I do like that both his parents are Gators.
Let's talk a little bit about Jaden Rashada. Jaden Rashada visited UF. I think it's been about 8 or 9 days. I know we mentioned his time at the University of Florida in the last episode of Stadium and Gale. Nick reassured us that we're just a hat on the table. Jaden Rashada did come out and say that he's going to be visiting Florida. Is it next? It's going to be next weekend.
I want the commitment just Nick to eat these words more than anything, man.
I mean, the history shows us. So
I knew he was in a good space once he said that. I was like, man, we may be all right here. You didn't feel a little bit better once Nick said that?
I did.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I had the weeks off. Jaden Rashada is visiting UF tomorrow. It looks like June 7th. I know that he's announcing his commitment date next week. That's where I was getting confused.
18th. Yes.
Okay. So 11 days to the middle of the week after. Is at Texas A&M a couple days ago, visiting LSU for the whole of one day. Already did his official visit to Ole Miss, and then we'll be wrapping up his official visits to Florida on June 7th. So I know it looks to be a 2-team race between us and Oregon. Oregon's been involved for quite some time. Obviously a West Coast kid, the 5-star, 6'4", 185-pound quarterback out of Pittsburgh, California. So got to put our money where our mouth is. You think that Florida gets him?
I feel good where we at with it, man. We came out of the blue. We never changed our board. Shout out to Billy and the boys. I'm not giving shout out yet. They got to land them. But they never changed their board. Shout out to that. Like, their board hasn't changed. We haven't seen new offers. So maybe the info is just a little bit different from our end. And but nonetheless, here we are. We have an opportunity. We had the last visit, back-to-back visits at that, 2 times within a month. We have an opportunity to get a blue chip quarterback. We turned down one with Nick Evers. I think it's a need this cycle. I don't think it's a want. AR is pretty much on borrowed time. He's an explosive season away from leaving, and we can have a quarterback debacle real quick here in Gainesville. So big need. And I think we're gonna do what we got to do, man. This is University of Florida. Like, blue chip quarterbacks supposed to come play football here.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it very heavily on the show over the last couple of weeks and couple of months. Florida has a major gap in issue at the quarterback position beyond Anthony Richardson, and Florida needs to go get that blue chip quarterback. It's been a long time since Florida's gotten that blue chip quarterback to get that 5-star, that highly ranked 4-star. So a guy like Jaden Rashad is a guy that, like you said, Silk, alluding back to Aiden Mizell and to Hakeem Williams and a number of the other big names that are out there. You get a guy like him.
We got blue chippers lately, though. I think AR and Emory was both blue chipper, and Franks.
Yeah, I know.
Not 5-star.
Emory was a 4-star. I guess, yeah, you're right. We've gotten blue chippers. We've not gotten the 5-star. Kind of running back here. I know Felipe Franks at one point was a 5-star. I know Emory Jones was a highly ranked 4-star. I think AR climbed to be a 4-star later on in his recruiting.
He was a high 4-star.
Yeah, I know when Florida started recruiting him, and when he committed originally, he was a 3-star. Yeah,
correct. He had to build up. Correct.
Yeah, and I don't think that Florida. I think looking back on it, you've had the guys that have risen up those rankings. But regardless, Jaden Rashada, I stand corrected. You're right, Silk. But Jaden Rashada is a guy that does bring a lot of eyeballs if you're a wide receiver. Highly ranked guy, can sling the ball around, has all of the tools and size that you're looking for out of a quarterback. Again, from California.
Appears super professional. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're fine.
It comes off super mature and professional the way he carries himself. I've seen him in a few videos. Mark Willard interviewed him.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other people did. He just seems extra mature in the way he carries himself. Absolute professional. Quarterbacks are different with going across the country. I don't think it's a big deal with a quarterback going across the country. They're going for a different, it's different. And it's not a defensive back going to play, you know what I'm saying? It's only one spot. And it's towards them.
And I think that what you've seen in the schools that he's interested in, in the commitment that his family seems to have in finding that right school, and not just about location, coming across the country to go to Gainesville twice in 2 weeks is a lot of commitment, and you're looking for certain things. And I know what he said that he's interested in is looking for a quarterback centric head coach and somebody that can groom and mold him to the NFL or to continue to develop him to the best shot that he has to continue his playing career. And I like Florida's chances right now. I think a couple of weeks ago, I thought that we were in the mix. I don't think that I would have thought that UF was going to be this close this quickly, because this is a name 4 or 5 weeks ago we weren't talking much about, but an incredible player would be the absolute bell cow. And I think it would answer a lot of questions. Not that Billy Napier needs to answer questions of the fans, but certainly would be a massive feather in his cap early on in his time at the University of Florida to be able to reel in a guy like him. If you care about crystal balls, if you care about the on-3 prediction index and everything else, you have to like where Florida's standing right now. Like I said, he's visited LSU, Texas A&M, Oregon, and Florida has the last visit, and obviously some tough and stiff competition out there, but certainly an opportunity for
I'm not counting Jimbo out. I'm not counting Jimbo out either, just cause. But I like where we at with this, and this is one we just need to close on. Then we get a commitment as well. I like the wide receiver. I can't remember his name.
Just gonna pull him up. The Gators do grab another name out of the JUCO ranks this year. This is a name that I don't think many people had heard about. Again, we talked about it on the show a couple months ago about, the transfer portal, kind of limiting when you hear about JUCO players and prep players. But the Gators did offer got the commitment from Ty Chiaokiao Bowman.
I just went straight to Bowman.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call him Ty for the rest of this segment. Is going to be coming to the University of Florida as a scholarship wide receiver. I know there's some question marks there, whether he's a walk-on or whether he was on scholarship. He will be on scholarship. Coming from Independence Community College. Originally, it was a 3-star recruit out of Robbinsdale Armstrong High School in Minnesota. Right now, he is ranked as the number 2 prep player in the country by the JUCO rankings. Had offers from Ole Miss, Illinois, and Nebraska. But a guy that, again, not a lot of people knew about, but had a clear connection to Kerry Colbert, and decided that his connection, his clear connection is with Dominique Byrd at UNC or at USC, who was friends with him and his brother, and also close with Larry Fitzgerald and that family, which ultimately brought him back to Kerry Colbert and his connection back. He's joining Caleb Douglas in this class and Ricky Pearsall, who Soak, I know we didn't talk a ton about a couple weeks ago when he committed to round out this wide receiver class of 2022. So you got to watch his video. What were your thoughts on Ty Bowman? Ty C. Bowman.
Speedy, explosive. He's a football player. I think he's gonna contribute for us this fall. Shout out to Kerry Colbert and the staff for getting some players in here to give us, a different look at wide receiver. Between Ricky Pearsall, this Bowman kid. I don't know about Caleb Douglas. He's coming in as a true high school prospect, so he's gonna have to mature a little bit. But I think Ricky Pearsall and Bowman are guys that could see snaps this year. Bowman 6'2", 190. Not a small kid at all. I don't know. I think he's explosive, and I had a take about this on Roll Up, and I had a take about this on. I think I said it on Stadium Miguel as well. But JUCO is underevaluated and it's untapped into as far as these kids' rankings. The pandemic set that back a little bit. We got to see guys like DeJuan Black sit out and then get to play 1 year because of JUCO. So a lot of these kids are just shelled. It's not a whole lot of film out on a lot of these JUCO kids that we're bringing in as well. So it's a lot of research and a lot of grinding and digging to find these prospects. Shout out to even the offers he had. So I'm glad that he did have the Ole Miss offer, and Lane and the boys was interested in it. That solidifies a few things that we see with the film. But a good get. We'll see how he helps us this fall.
Absolutely. No, definitely looking forward to watching him, and a lot of research is going to come out about him over the next couple of weeks, but definitely a name that is new to many Gator fans, but certainly looks to be a
lot of good
player.
names, and even in the reporting around it with Larry Fitzgerald and the names that he knew Colbert through. I just thought it was okay, this gets grinding and around the right company when it comes to wide receivers.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to see Ty join the Gators wide receiver core. Will be interesting to see kind of who's in and who's out of that room. But speaking of which, Silk, I know you mentioned this on the roll up. The Gators also added a preferred walk-on, Eddie Battle, out of Southwest Missouri State, originally from McDonough, Georgia. That kid's an animal. I don't know if he'll be able to tote the rock at UF. That's a hell of a practice player to go up against, man.
That's an interesting prospect. At another kid is a bigger 6'2". What is he? 6'2", 2 what?
He's 6'1", 215.
6'1", 215 running back that they got him listed as. Big physical guy, hard to tackle, runs kickoff returns, do a little bit of everything, special teams in those clips. But I think that's a guy, if he don't play running back, I don't know if they have some other plans for him, but a big physical kid that can play, I think, on either side of the ball. But definitely going to be able to play some running back here.
Yeah, absolutely. A great running back. He's going to be. That's like I said, at worst, it's a hell of a practice player. That's a big guy. That's a guy that runs through people. So excited to welcome him as well to Gator Nation.
Good preferred walk-on.
Yeah. Building out an army of walk-ons. I know that Jordan Hall also visited the University of Florida, had a lot of glowing things to say about his time at the University of Florida. So I know that he's been involved with Florida State and a number of other programs. But definitely a guy that, Silk, like you mentioned earlier, looking at the linebacker group, Jordan Hall's a good player.
Yeah, they could hoop. They had some dogs on campus this weekend. I hope they got together and said some, some nice things to each other. But Bates the traction is just different than the last. And these guys got to land these recruits, but the traction and the company, the board is just way different than these last guys. And the board ain't changing real fast. They recruiting these guys. They're active. I mean, I need these dates to stop changing, right? We had some dates that's supposed to go down July 22nd, 23rd. And a lot of those days got pushed back to October, and Bama and some other programs are stepping up. A&M are coming up and some of these recruitments along the I-4. So I don't want to say they need to get more aggressive because, like I said, the approach to these kids is a little different than it was in the past. So I can't contradict myself from my take earlier with the patience of these kids. But we just got to land them when they decide. And that's where we at with it. We haven't struck out. We haven't missed, but they haven't decided yet either. So we just vibing.
Let's see another news. Tim Tebow is officially on the College Football Hall of Fame ballot. Brad Culpepper and Eric Rhett are also in there. I mean, got to be a unanimous, right? So
yeah,
be unanimous there. Congratulations to McCartney.
Could you imagine like the guy that doesn't?
There's going to be somebody that does it, because they're going to talk about his NFL career. They're going to talk about his move to baseball. They're going to figure out some stupid reason why, right? There's always that one.
Let's jump him.
We'll send whoever had the best hands on the team.
Yeah.
There was somebody on Twitter asked us the other day who had the best hands on our podcast. I was wondering why they asked. I mean, I assumed it's a pretty obvious answer, but
I'm a peaceful guy, man.
Yeah, no, I was talking about Nick.
Yeah.
But congratulations to McCartney Kessler. She is an All-American for the third time, women's tennis player. So congratulations to her. There is men's tennis that I need to get to as well, because I know that they also were All-Americans. But the screen that I had it pulled up on Silk just disappeared on me. I want to give a shout out to Ben Shelton, who was an All-American. I'm not finding the other, so we'll talk about it a little bit more next week. The article went away. Silk article went away.
It happens, man. We ain't got it's just me and you today, man. We ain't got Nick. We ain't got the interns. We
got nothing.
Old school
just us.
With it, man.
Just us.
How we started.
Well, so let's get to the end of the show. I know you need to do a Manscaped ad read, so I'll do a quick Alumni Hall one, then you do Manscaped, then we'll take us out for Song of the Week. As always, go visit alumnihall.com. Go visit the UF section. They are just a couple days away from announcing the new Gators coaches polos, the new Nike polos, the new Jordan Fit polos, and everything else that you're going to want for Father's Day, everything that you're going to want for the new upcoming season. So again, go to alumnihall.com, toggle over to UF, or use this promo code on any of the 10, 15 different schools that they work with. Use promo code SG20 for 20% off of your order. And thank you so much. They reached out to us the other day saying a bunch of you guys are using that. So continue to use that. It helps us continue to deliver great content for you. So Manscaped.
Shout out to the great folks at manscaped.com, man. I've been ball deodorant heavy, man. No sticky action on my leg. Everything's flowing. No hair down there. Everything's groomed to the T. Use the Lawnmower 4.0 because I'm a cultured, distinguished gentleman. I can't be walking around here looking like Harry Larry. No, you gotta get it together, fellas. Use coupon code SG20 at checkout for 20% off of all man grooming needs at manscaped.com. They have the ear weed whacker. If you got nose hair, they can take care of that as well. Also have underwear, regular deodorant, body wash. Groom yourself. That's it.
All right, Silk. We're going to take it back. I'll never forget the first time I had Song of the Week. I had.
I think it's my song because Nick robbed me. Nick robbed me.
Nick did one up you. That's right. So we'll save my Song of the Week for next week. Silk, take us out. I think you had the first ever Song of the Week too, so it only makes sense.
Already. I do want to give an extra shout out to my man Alan. Alan from Horn. He sponsored. He helped us out with the Janoris interview as well, man. So shout out to my man Alan, friend of the Stady Miguel show, friend of the network. Let me get Most Def Traveling Man. Most Def Traveling Man. Nice little jingle.
All right, boys. Well, just you. Cam's waiting. Producer Cam. Shout out Producer Cam, who's been with us also since day one.
Shout out to Cam, man.
It's been an awesome 3 years. Excited to do at least 3 more years with you guys as well. But we'll bring Nick back next week. They're still in rain delay. Looks like it's going to be at least after 8 p.m. So Nick got to the ballpark today at noon. Probably won't leave until 9 or 10. So Nick,
God.
we missed you. We missed you, and we'll get Scott Strickland on in the next couple weeks as well. But
I know he's stressed out right now, man.
He's worried about the dogs. He doesn't have the girlfriend to take care of.
Oh my goodness!
He probably missed his Embers reservation. You know.
No stadium, Miguel.
Oh man. Well, Silk, we'll see you in the same corner, same time next week.
Absolutely, man. Same corner, same time, man. Appreciate all the fans, all the love. Go Gators.